I'm not a big fan of small talk. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So, as a creator of Skip protocol, when we will see a button to convert all dust to atom?
Yes, we've been talking about this for a while. Have you used the Stride one? Because there is a way to convert all of your ST asset dust into Stride right now. We haven't built out this feature yet because it hasn't been so demanded by the protocols that we work with, but I think it's a great idea. Oftentimes, the gas cost of doing this sometimes exceeds the value of the assets.
Okay, so if this a great idea, when you will see it in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, just approximately, up to you.
There's no plan for it right now.
Okay, understood.
It's not something that's on the roadmap.
What is the main feature what you would like to add in Skip protocol right now?
The main feature I'd like to add, well, I would like to expand IBC Eureka to Bitcoin, Solana, and the different L2s so that we can transfer Atom and other tokens between those different ecosystems and transfer Bitcoin like natively over IBC into Cosmos. I think that would be really cool. So that's one of the things that we're working on now. In addition, honestly, one of the biggest features I'd like to add to Skip Go is better ways of monetizing. So that means working with the companies that use Skip Go to figure out, ways to basically start charging them for services and then using that revenue to directly buy Atom.
Perfect. Okay, about buying Atom. Have you seen that Coinbase is accumulating Atom tokens? Their reserves have increased from 24 million for 37 million Atom tokens in the past year. What do you think Coinbase is loading up Atom, and what is your relationship with Coinbase? Do you think Coinbase knows something about Atom what we don't?
Potentially. But if it's something that I could share, I likely wouldn't be able to share it on this call. My sense is that there are some things I can share. One of the things I can share is that Atom has an extremely favorable outlook as being one of the very few cryptocurrencies to likely be classified as a commodity alongside Ethereum and Bitcoin because it is so mature and because the Cosmos Hub is truly decentralized and the foundation has very little Atom, which puts it in an incredible regulatory environment for all kinds of new business models to be enabled, some of which might be participated in by Coinbase.
Okay, so can you repeat again about relationship with Coinbase, between you and Coinbase?
So we don't have any kind of direct financial relationship, is the truth, right? The relationship we have with Coinbase is we're very close to them because Atom custody and Atom staking is a huge part of their business. So basically they have, you can see Coinbase custody and Coinbase Cloud are huge validators. They make a lot of money off of Atom staking. They have a lot of Atom custody going on. And so they have been huge supporters of Atom, marketing it for free since, basically 2019.
Okay, so let's talk about K metrics. If right now you're looking at Cosmos ecosystem like a business, yeah, correct?
Yes.
So you said in the Twitter what Cosmos has 2 million users. How you got this number?
Yes.
How you got this number?
That is the number of active users of the Kepler wallet. Kepler has above 2 million downloads, and this I think is. Some chains like, I don't know, I see these all the time, like, Warden or they say they have 200, 400 million active addresses. That's all fake. The most realistic way to look at this is to look at unique Apple Store, App Store and Google Play Store downloads, and also active users of those wallets, because that is generally deduped and is much more difficult to bot.
But 1 second, are you really sure that Cosmos has 2 million users? I mean, yeah, 2 million downloads, for example. But are you really believe in this number?
Yes, I fully believe in this number. And the reason I say that is because I'm not saying that these are 2 million Cosmos Hub users, right? I'm saying that these are 2 million Cosmos users that are using the Kepler wallet. And Cosmos has 250 chains, right? And there are many users between them. And so I think 2 million is actually an underestimate of how many users there are.
If we're talking about true Cosmos warriors, true people who use Cosmos each day, for example, make swaps in Osmosis, do some, I don't know, buy an NFTs or use Injective, maybe rent a server on Akash. How do you think these numbers it will be? It's around 30,000, 50,000. Let's talk about this number.
So that we don't talk about, so that we don't generalize too much, let's chat about the specific numbers on specific chains, right? So the last we checked, Osmosis itself, which is one of the many dexes inside of Cosmos, has about, I think it's 20 to 30,000 active users that come back monthly, right? So it's much smaller than 2 million.
Yeah.
Cosmos Hub has about 100 to 200,000 active users who do something that's not just staking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot more, but it's also a much bigger chain. It's been around for a lot longer. Injective, I don't know the numbers on, but I think when I'm talking about the 2 million number, that's including things like Chronos, right? Which maybe you'd think about as core Cosmos or not core Cosmos. I don't know. That's including things like like Say. That's including things like DYDX. That's including things like Celestia, right? Because Kepler is the wallet for all of those things.
Yeah, understood. Why I'm asking? Because for me, it's very important if you look at the Cosmos ecosystem as a business, we need to understand the key metrics. So what key metrics do you track in Cosmos ecosystem, for example, monthly or weekly right now?
I think the first important thing is define what the key metrics are, right? Because sometimes the key metrics that you're looking at are not actually important. And then you think they're important and you look for growth, but they're not actually moving anything, right? So for example, one of the best examples of this, of a fake key metric that doesn't really move anything, is TVL, right? Total value locked. This is like a key metric that is across everything extremely gamed, right? It's just a question of incentives. If I pay 20%, I can get $1 billion of TVL on Bitcoin, right? But that means I have to inflate my token to infinity. So there are some metrics that we don't care about. And I think it's important to mention those as also the metrics that we do care about. We don't care so much about TVL on the Cosmos Hub. This is not important. This doesn't do anything for Atom. We also don't care too much about the general number of Cosmos chains, because in reality, a new Cosmos chain launching does not do something for the Cosmos Hub and Atom, right? It doesn't. Like sometimes they launch and there's no connection. What we do care about is the number of chains that are launching that have a relationship with us and that are driving revenue to the Atom Foundation or the ICF, because that we can use to monetize our own interests. And so we care about chains that have a close relationship and accept Cosmos and are using IBC and are using the tech stack, but also purchasing services from us like IBC Eureka and SkipGo and things like this where we can monetize. We also care about metrics around the token holder base. So specifically, we care about we care about the decentralization of the network, right? The Gini coefficient. We care about the concentration of stake, which is very similar at the top of the set. This is something that we're actively thinking about right now. We care about, obviously, the price of Atom. It's very important to us. And we care about what percentage of Atom is staked, because that is a big indicator of the health and long-term perspective of the investors. When people want to sell or they're bearish, they unstake a lot of their capital. When people are excited about the future and willing to lock in for a while, then they all start staking. So for example, one of the key metrics, which is the staking percentage, when we first joined, meaning when this company was acquired and we came into leadership, the staking percentage was around 50%. It was a little bit lower. It actually dropped below 50% for the first time in history. Now it is firmly above 60%, which is approaching basically the point at which the inflation rate will actually go down, right? Or the staking rate will actually go down. And so we feel really confident that what that means, even though the price of Atom is a separate story, what that means is that the investors in Atom feel very confident in the long-term vision. And so they are locking up their funds, taking it off the open market. And that is a trend that is increasing. So we're very excited about that. However, one of the things that is not has not made huge progress, and that we are now starting to make progress over the last 6 months because previously no one cared, was what is the percentage of Cosmos chains that want to embrace Cosmos and embrace Atom and the services offered, right? This is something that we're working on now. So we are directly monetizing our swapping service, SkipGo, and also infrastructure services like IBC Eureka with the newer Cosmos chains like TAC and Ripple and Ondo and Babylon. And that value is going to Atom, right? This is a new metric that we care about now, and this is what we're really trying to solve. And the new pivot that we have is to increase that number of chains, right? We want to increase the number of chains that use Cosmos and buy the services and increase the revenue accrual to Atom.
Thank you very much for this incredible answer. I just want to mention one thing. You are visiting a lot of bloggers, about a lot of people, and tell them about it. Yeah, I keep tracking all news about Cosmos ecosystems. I have been doing it from 2022, so I do it 3 years actually. And I'm asking you one thing: where is dashboard like Akash has, like Celestia has, where I can track every key metrics what you just mentioned and just see it when I drink a coffee in the morning? Where is dashboard of Cosmos?
So there's one dashboard that I don't know if you have seen before. Let me share it with you now in the chat. This is the token terminal dashboard, which I like.
Okay.
It's quite good, actually. So here, I don't know if I can share my screen. Maybe I can.
You don't need to do it because maybe we have lagging. Our conversation recorded, and I will upload it on YouTube.
Take a look at this. I'm just going to talk through it. It shows the fully diluted market cap. It shows the token trading volume, the fees that are generated, the revenue, the addresses monthly, also the active users, which, as I said, is 100 to 200K. This puts it at 177.4 thousand. So right in that range. And also has a lot of the news about Atom below. So this is something, right? And then also you can go into the metrics specifically. You can look at, the supply side fees, the expenses, the token incentives, the earnings, the PF ratio. You can go very deep here. This is, I think, pretty good, but it also makes us look like all other projects. And what I mean by that is these are metrics that Solana cares about. These are metrics that Ethereum cares about. We don't care about a lot of these metrics, is the truth. Because Atom is not like Solana and Ethereum. We don't have a smart contract ecosystem. So then why are we caring about how many smart contracts and TVL there is on the Cosmos? It doesn't make any sense. We don't even have the possibility of having anything, right? What we do care about is the distribution of Atom and the services that we are providing with the Cosmos stack that we are monetizing for Atom. And so our revenue as a company is more important than, let's say, the TVL numbers.
Yeah, and how can I track it?
That you cannot currently track. We'll have to work on different dashboards for that because, it's not all on chain, right? Is the truth. Like these dashboards, they always track things that are on chain, right? And the reality is with Cosmos is you can't fully track this thing on chain because a lot of the companies that are using Cosmos you don't even know about them. Perhaps you don't know, but the Toyota cars, maybe someone here has one. The way that they unlock from remotely, when you have your key and you unlock it from afar, that is powered by Comet BFT. That is our stack that is powering that interaction, because there's two nodes, one on the key and one on the car. And then there's a third one basically as a redundancy, and they form a consensus to unlock the car remotely. The company building this is called Vouch.io. Here, I'll show you the domain. It's a major Web 2 company, but none of this stuff is on chain, right? And so it's a challenge to basically put a lot of this traction on chain in a place where people can see it, or at least in the dashboard, people can see it and verify it.
Incredible. And I absolutely agree with you that you need to create dashboard exclusively for Atom. Because, for example, in Celestia, I just mentioned the website celestiadata.com, and you can track how many chains use it. It's very important for me because I'm tracking how many chains integrate Celestia to themselves. Yeah. So for Atom, if you do dashboard and you show us the key metrics, what is important for us, you don't need to tell me to tell another blogger what is important for you. You just tell us about it through the dashboard. Do you understand the idea?
I understand.
So
actually, we just signed a partnership with Blockworks. Are you familiar with Blockworks before?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about them.
They're big. They're one of the biggest data and institutional data providers in the crypto space. It's like bigger and in some places than Nasari. We just signed a partnership with them to do a custom dashboard that will outline all of this data. And working with a different company as well called Range to provide that data, which I think will solve a lot of these needs, and that is already signed, and that will probably be within the next 3 to 6 months, hopefully closer to 2 to 3 months.
You know, Magmar, you have been doing a lot of work since you became a captain of Cosmos. I don't call you the head of Cosmos, or I call you captain. In our community, you are captain. So you doing.
I will say one thing, which is if I'm a captain, then I need a crew.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the big things that we need in Cosmos is we need an army, right? Because some of the bigger projects like XRP, they're not doing anything, right? But they have an army of holders that are willing to spread the narrative and the vision, talk about it with their local community, get people in. And this is what I want to create with Atom as well. This is really important to me.
This is why I'm asking you, why I mentioned this moment. Because we know Magmar as captain, but we don't know the crew. So for me, it's very important to tell you how Axelar is doing this. For example, you know Sergey from Axelar? He's a co-founder of Axelar.
Yes.
So I saw his speech on one of the conference, and he said, I'm a co-founder, I'm doing this, I do this, but let's introduce one guy. He is like integrator. If you need to integrate something and use us, let's talk with this guy. And this is important moment because in Celestia, for example, I had to interview with Victor. He is also trying to help integrate different blockchains to Celestia. So we know you like the captain of Cosmos. Can you tell us who is the main leaders in your crew right now?
Sure. I'm happy to introduce some of them. So our CMO, our chief of marketing, is named Nico. He's very good. He comes from the Near ecosystem. He's worked in a bunch of different ecosystems. He is, my right-hand man when it comes to spreading the message of Atom. There is also this guy, Sergey. He's Russian originally, and he is a ecosystem marketing. He's a very smart guy. He lives in Seattle now. His attitude online is like impersonating a gorilla, which is very strange, but it's just how he does it. And then we also have on my team, obviously, Barry. Are you guys familiar with Barry? He is my co-founder and co-CEO. He does everything inside, right? So all the good things that come out of the ICL and out of Cosmos Labs and out of the ICF and the Cosmos Hub, he is behind it. He is running a 40-person team of engineers and product managers and operations associates, etc. So this is some of the crew. I think also, I have a lot of respect for some different influencers in the space. You know me, I'm always with the community. So I have a lot of respect for some of the OGs in the community, like Agent Quash and Stunzeed and Adam Jazz, and also some of the people who are more on YouTube, like I like Joe from Dead Cat Media. I like Cryptocito. All of these people I talk to a lot, and I'm usually on the same page with them of where we're going as an ecosystem.
You said about influencers, but what about really good developers, which helps with integration in Cosmos? What do you think about Zaki?
So let me answer the first question, then I'll get to the second question. So on the integration side, we have a really strong customer success team. These guys are all engineers, meaning they know how to code and they know how to build Cosmos chains and integrate Cosmos chains. Happy to introduce you to their community. Introduce them to this community. So that is Jeremy, that is Max Power, that is also Crypto Assassin, and the last guy is Devin. They're really good guys to talk to, and they help with a lot of the different integrations. On the side with Zaki, Zaki has done a lot for Cosmos in the past, right? He was one of the absolute OGs. He was there very early within the Tendermint organization. However, I will say, now he is much less involved, right? He's a great spokesperson, but he is working on many different things. His focus is not only on Cosmos anymore. And so he is our advisor. He's helping us, with some context and ideas that he has had for years, but he is not actively making any of the decisions anymore.
Why? How do you think why anymore?
Because we don't let him. I don't know how else to say it. Because he's not in charge.
Can you rephrase it? I just don't understand you.
Sure. So Zaki, let's think about Zaki's life cycle, right? So in the beginning, Zaki was part of the Tendermint organization, where he actively led the development and growth of Cosmos. He was very successful at this. He turned Cosmos from nothing into something very real, right? Afterwards, Zaki worked on a couple different projects. One was the Occlusion Validator, which is still a Cosmos Hub validator. Another one was Sommelier, which is his Vaults protocol. He also worked on Celestine Slots, the NFT protocol on Celestia. He also worked with Union. He worked with Noble. He worked with Celestia, the team itself. He also worked with Lido. In general, he is spread across many different things, but he does not have the focus or the position right now to make the decisions for the Cosmos ecosystem about where we are going. He is helpful to be an advisor. He is not paid anything. He's a free advisor to us. We chat with him, sometimes, but he is not making any decisions for the Cosmos ecosystem. And this was a request of the community, which was a lot of the old people who were making decisions, Zaki, Ethan Buckman, Marco, Jack Samplin. A lot of people lost trust in those people to lead the ecosystem, and they wanted new leadership, right? They wanted people who were not inside the cartel, which is what they called it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was true, but that's what they called it. And they wanted new people who knew how to build things and were engineers and thought about users and products. And that's why we were acquired, to do that job.
Understood. You mentioned people who will help us to integrate something in Cosmos ecosystem. Can you share one guy? I need one guy, the main guy, his Twitter account. Why I'm asking?
What are you trying to build?
I'm not trying to build because, I talked with Symphony. They just trying to create decentralized stablecoin. And I talked with them maybe 1 year ago. I had an interview with them. And I said, with who you spoke about integration? And he said, I don't know. I don't know anybody. I said, you need to speak, for example, with Zaki. And he said, who is Zaki? So the problem is right now that some independent developers, they absolutely don't know with who they should talk. Do you understand the problem?
Yes, I understand the problem. But I have spoken with Symphony many times. They were speaking with me. I'm a good person to reach out to, but Symphony needed money.
Yeah.
They needed
Magmar,
they wanted our money.
yeah, no. I'm not the guy who trying to push and take care about Symphony. I don't care about them, actually, honestly. So when you became a captain, I see you have a lot of work. So you talk it with Symphony. It's nice. I'm talking about companies or developers like Symphony, and they should really know what to do and how to integrate. And for them, they don't need 4 or 5 persons. They need one guy, one special guy.
It's me.
No,
Put me
no, Magmar. It's too much. It's you will be like Zaki, and you do everything. No, you need you the captain. You need the guy. For example, how you say it. He is the chief of marketing. This is the guy, the chief of integration. Do you understand? Because
give me 1 second. Let me give you a profile of a guy that you can use for this. So this is one guy that you can use here. This guy is amazing. He's really good. He's also Russian, by the way, Vlad.
Okay.
And then you can use this guy as well. He's a developer, by the way.
Yeah. So sometimes we have an NFT collection, and we have a big Russian-speaking community here. So people who knows Russian are welcome here. Ukraine, Belarus, Armenia, Israel. I don't care. So sometimes it could be developer who just trying to present his idea or product. They come to us. I had around 30 interview. So I made 300 videos about Cosmos ecosystem. And they can just ask me, can you recommend somebody? And I should recommend somebody. And it will be like Vlad Dika. It will be the beginning integration to the Cosmos. Okay, now I know I will use it a lot, and other bloggers can also do it. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go.
Yes.
I need to understand your vision. So you have said Cosmos is for every business and even countries. So what specific strategies do you have to attract this organization?
Yeah, so when I say that Cosmos is for every major group of people and business, and even, like you said, countries, what I mean is that blockchain is a technology that can replicate and better perform the underlying infrastructure for the majority of organizations in the world. This is why I'm here. Right? This is the reason for blockchain. For example, the governance structure of blockchain, and specifically Cosmos blockchains, the Cosmos technology, can replicate a lot of the corporate structure and a lot of the governmental structure inside governments and companies today. And you can have all of the financial underlying tooling necessary to actually create an economy on top of that Cosmos chain. So one of the places that we're seeing this is we are actively talking to 3 separate governments, all in South America, about launching their currency as a CBDC on top of Cosmos technology. So they will have a chain for each country, and those chains will issue their currency, and then they will connect together over IBC. And so the transaction fees for cross-border payments between those countries will be basically free and instant, which is hugely different than what it is today. Right now, it's 7 to 14 days. And they will be able to have governance similar to their own governance of their countries, right? So they'll be able to appoint people, manage monetary policy like they do in governments today, but much more efficiently, on-chain, transparently. And they will have a fully secure way of transacting their currency, tracking their currency, seeing, being able to send it to people, things like that, so that users can have accounts on their Cosmos chains and basically hold their currency in those accounts. And then when they want to go to a different country or they want to transact in a different country, they can just IBC to the other country's blockchain, right? These are real pilot programs that we're working on right now. One of which is in stage 3 of 5, which means that it's already quite deep inside.
Magmar, I'm really glad to hear it, but I'm asking, what is the strategy do you use? Like, what marketing initiative, or do you have special salesmen? Like, have you seen the film Founder? It's about the story how the guy saw the McDonald's and start to spread it in the world. Have you seen this film?
No.
Okay. This is the guy who see the idea and start to sell it. So I'm asking you, I'm a big fan of Cosmos, like you. And we need a really, really amazing guy who sell the idea. And I'm asking you, what specific strategies do you have to attract this organization? So you have 3 right now. How are you going to spread it? How are you going to sell the idea of Cosmos to other countries, to other organizations?
So the first question I had is, what am I doing right now? I'm selling the idea. What do I do all day long? I sell ideas, right? That is my job. That's why I'm here right now with you, selling the ideas. But we do have a team behind this. So we have our own sales team, which basically right now is a bunch of folks who have experience they come from the Solana Foundation. They have experience with traditional companies and governments and CBDCs and RWAs and stablecoin. We are actively working on a pilot program where we are basically sending to all these different companies a pitch deck, right? Which basically outlines all the different benefits of Cosmos. We're sending this to hundreds of companies, and then some percentage of those people come back and they say, hey, we are interested in blockchain. Our company is maybe in the healthcare space, but we have a very strong interest in exploring how blockchain can help assist us in managing our healthcare records, right? We have one of those in Cosmos already called Metablock. Then after that, we are working with them in person and working with them closely to build out an MVP chain for their use case. Right? And maybe only 20% of those actually become public and become live in production. That's how it works, right? Not everything becomes a sale at the end of it. But these companies are so big and their budgets are so big, and blockchain can help them so much in attracting new users and upgrading their internal systems that they're willing to pay a lot. So even one of these deals could be $40 million, right? Or more. In the case of, for example, the government of Colombia just authorized spending $400 million on upgrading their own banking system into digital rails, right? These budgets are huge. And so that's how we are attracting people into this pilot program. And we are actively doing this. We are running events. We are going to corporate events. We are speaking. We are sending out this pitch deck. We are running a full sales pipeline. And then we are getting people in the pilot program. And if they have a good experience in the pilot program, then it is easier to sell the next person, right? Because let's say you are government of Bulgaria, right?
Okay.
If you are looking at CBDCs and you see, Cosmos has done 5 different governments, all of them are successful, we don't even need to reach out to you because you're reaching out to us, right? And that's why it's important, even though it might not be so sexy in the beginning, to put in the work on these pilot programs so that as the world comes on chain, which we all know is going to happen, it is already happening, we will have done the work to put us at the lead, right? We can't try to go after the problems or the exciting things today because we will lose, because the people who are winning those have been working on them for 5 years. We need to put in the work now to win the next thing, right? The next thing that is coming for the industry, not the thing that is already happening. That's why we're not doing the EVM, because that is doing the EVM, that is trying to win against Solana, Hyperliquid, Ethereum, right? You can't win that because they've been working on it for 5 years already. What they're not working on is working on getting these governments and institutions to adopt crypto in a way that actually works for them. That's why the Cosmos stack is so effective, because it lets these people build their own chains on their own terms, not join somebody else's chain. This is really important for governments and institutions, which is why we're working on this now.
Okay. And when I will see you in TV, for example, in Bloomberg, just a fun question.
When it depends when Bloomberg invites me, but we are working with PR agencies that are trying to that are helping us get connected to some of these larger agencies. I will say it is not easy, and the reason it's not easy is not because we're doing a bad job. It's because Cosmos has a history, right? It has a history of bad leadership, is the truth. Right, and a lot of infighting. The truth is, everybody else knows about this. Right, all Bloomberg, all the news outlets, they do one search for Cosmos and they see, Jacob Didikian crazy posts about, and Jay Quan and all of these things, and it's not helping. So what we need to do is really do the work to elevate, to bring up the brand of Cosmos, so that it is something that news institutions are excited to bring, right? And we become a thought leader versus something that has a lot of baggage from previous leadership.
Understood. Let's talk about another thing. So, have you seen Star Wars?
Star Wars, yes.
Okay. So, by helping countries with CBDCs, are you crossing to the dark side? This system could let governments control people, turning them into slaves by cutting off their access if they disagree. Are you okay with building tools that could lead to this?
I don't see it the same way, because let's take a central bank today, right? Let's take like the central bank of Turkey, right? Which is in some ways a very controlling government, right? They have a relatively authoritarian leader. And they keep tight control over their economy. They have a central bank that is basically very politically motivated. Upgrading that country to CBDCs will do a couple things. One, it will not change the level of control that the government has over the currency, because they already assert very tight control. They can cut people off if they want to. What it will do is it will expose a lot of what is going on there, so that normal people can see what is happening, and it is easier to audit this. And so I think leads to a greater sense of transparency of, this is a problematic system. We need to make changes, right? And I think a lot of that is important, because right now you don't even see what's going on, right? Everything is hush hush. Like, you can't see the payments that the government is making to a contractor, right? You don't know about it. And so I think by having some kind of global standard for this, we can at least elevate the transparency of some of these governments and central banks. And also, I think I see the CBDC work as a big step towards the future that we all want, which is a financial world and a financial system owned by the people who use it, right? Which is owned by people and has a lot of autonomy, because with the current system, there's no way that we get to that future in the current financial system. It is too many middlemen. There's too much, obfuscation or lack of transparency. At least for the CBDC, you get them on the same rails that can lead to a decentralized system, right? And so you open up the door now for further movement into a system like that. And once you start connecting these different CBDC Cosmos chains, then you can actually start to open up like a much more open like worldwide system of trade between countries. And you can start to have countries pressure each other to basically have more open practices. So I think it is actually a step in the right direction. It might be a little bit scary, but the current system is not working, right? Bitcoin will still be around if everything fails, and Ethereum will still be around. Atom will still be around as truly decentralized currencies. But at least this gives us a chance to onboard more people into crypto because now they're using the same technology.
Understood. So next question. Let's talk about bad actors. Some developers take money from the community pool, leave project unfinished, and disappear. Are you tired of people constantly trying to drain the Cosmos community pool?
Yes. I am extremely upset about how the community pool has been used. I've made this very clear to everyone. I think the community pool has been used to bankroll and fund projects that could never have raised or never have been sustainable on their own. So it has what we call a negative selection bias. Basically, everyone who's good will raise from venture capital, right? And everyone who is good will find real business models. The only people who come to the community pool are people who don't have the skill or the product to do that. And so, in my opinion, all grants from the community pool need to be canceled immediately and permanently.
I agree with you.
That is my strong opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I've already said this. For example, I was very against the Stargaze acquisition from the community pool, right? A lot of people hated me for that, but that was a very difficult decision. But that's why I did it, is because I don't want the community pool to be drained. I was very against the ARC protocol recent request for funding. I have asked Hydro to find alternate funding methods besides the community pool, and they know that they will likely not be able to get through more spend on the community pool. So I'm trying to close this off completely.
Yeah, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
question then.
Yeah.
Well, what do we do with the community pool?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where does the money actually go?
Yeah.
And so for that, are you familiar with Grace from AADAO?
I think no.
She's very, very, very smart. I'm working with her right now to create a new kind of structure. It's called AAA, which stands for Atom Aligned Apps. It's a fund, not a DAO, and it will be managed by the ICL, by some professional members who know how to manage proper funds. And the purpose of that entity will be to incentivize and fund in a VC-like fashion the applications and companies that are building with Atom, right? And directly accruing value to Atom. The difference between this and AADAO is, one, it is not a DAO with random people, and it will actually include members of the ICL. It will include myself. I'll be on it. And it will be very closely aligned with the direction that we are moving with the ICL and ICF, right? And so it's going to be unified versus something that is just doing its own thing. Because if you look at AADAO, half of the projects they invested in, or many of the projects they invested in, don't even use Atom. They're on Solana, right? It's completely crazy that community pool funds were spent on Solana projects. Like, what is the reason for this? So at a minimum, we should have some kind of way where these teams can apply for public goods or venture funding or incentives or liquidity, so that we can properly manage what is going on, and we don't have these people going directly to governance, and we don't have these people being able to sort of like lie and not be accountable, because governance can't hold you accountable, right? Governance can say yes, no, but they can't take the money back 3 months later. You need a proper entity to do those kinds of things. So that's what I'm hoping with AAA.
Okay, but what about independent developers who don't have money but have great idea and skills? For example, should Cosmos subsidize third-party project at all through the different ecosystem? I mean, through the different system like AAA you just mentioned.
So, in my opinion, there is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that is built for these people. It's called venture capital, right? If you have an idea and you don't have money, You go to these people, they have associates willing to be reached out to. And if your idea is really good and they think you can do it, they will give you money. They are professionals, meaning they will not invest in things that will likely lose money. The thing with the community pool is that all the people who come to the community pool are the people that the venture capitalists said no to. So it's probably a problem with their business, right? Which is why I am, sorry, I'm recovering from COVID. This is why I think the community pool should be maybe a follow-on investor after another VC has invested in the round, because we should not be investing in the projects no one else wants. We should be getting into projects that other investors want as well, right? Because it's not responsible to be taking bets where no one else is willing to take bets when it comes to venture investing.
Okay. I have mentioned about map of zones. It shows 110 networks, but it seems like most of them are dying. Can you clean it, or do you have some collaboration with them? Because for me, map of zones, one of the it's good dashboard to show people new biased and represent them Cosmos ecosystem.
Yeah, I know the Map of Zones team. They're the ex-TFM team. They're good guys. I don't think they have found a way to monetize, and so I'm not sure how long it will continue existing for.
Understood.
My sense is, like, for example, I don't imagine that Ripple and TAC are on this, right? Like, it hasn't been updated with some of the newer, larger Cosmos chains. And the truth is, a lot of Cosmos chains are dying, right? And there's nothing I can do about this. They're not going to be successful, right? They are going to die. And it sucks because many people have made investments in these projects, but that is how the world works. Companies die when they don't find product market fit, right? What is much more important is focusing on the companies and the projects that have found product market fit. So, for example, DYDX has product market fit. I would argue that Babylon is approaching product market fit. TAC has product market fit. Like, some of these newer chains have product market fit. And this is why we're focusing on businesses, right? Because if your only source of revenue and the only value story for your token is inflation, then you're going to die. At some point, you are going to die, most likely. However, if you have a real business selling things outside that is accruing value to your token, you have product market fit, then you have a future, right? And that's why we're going after real businesses versus random crypto projects, right? Because we want people who have real companies with revenue, then building blockchains to extend that business and to have more powerful assets.
Understood.
This is what we are turning Atom into as well, with the selling of these services.
Okay, when you will focus on people who are trying to build communities, when you will see how many communities are here, and who is the person, like the chief of Cosmos, of building Cosmos community? Who is this guy?
Well, right now, that's kind of me.
Your game.
Somewhat, I will say. Yeah, I mean, I've been very active with the community. I'm always online. I'm always talking. I'm always sharing ideas, doing polls, getting thoughts. I think the community realizes how important they are to crafting the roadmap and crafting my own thinking about how to lead Cosmos into its next stage. So there's many examples of this, right? I oftentimes share announcements with close community members before they go live, asking for their thoughts. I oftentimes retweet stuff that the community has sent me about things that are exciting for Atom. I oftentimes use polls to get feedback on our roadmap, right? So I'm very active. And I will say I'm here today. And the reason I'm here today with you guys is I want to meet the other communities, and I want to meet them in different networks. I spend a lot of my time in WeChat talking to the Chinese community, and I don't speak Chinese. I speak English. And they're always translating what I'm saying, and I'm translating what they're saying. And sometimes I say something offensive because I didn't mean to, and it's very funny, right? Like, I'm trying my best, even though I don't speak all these languages and I don't know the culture, but I'm trying my best to share what we are doing and trying to get these communities to talk to each other. So, for example, I I got a lot of the people in the Chinese community to join the Atom community chat, right, which is mostly English and mostly American and EU, etc. Like, I want these guys to join together. We're all fighting for the same thing, right? We're all in this journey together, and we're all working on Cosmos. We're all thinking about Cosmos, investing in Cosmos and Atom, right? Like, we need to pour our ideas together because this is an international movement, right? This is happening in Russia. It's happening in the US. It's happening in South America. It's happening in China. It's happening in the Middle East, right? There's people everywhere who believes in this vision and hold this asset. And it's important that there is some way to get them together, right? Because otherwise it feels so isolated.
Okay, can I interrupt you? I have some advices for you if you don't mind. Okay, so first of all,
Sure.
if you have an interview with somebody, please tell them to upload it on YouTube, because only 20% of planet knows English. And if you watch YouTube, we can use different browser and just click and say translated and listen into Russian, for example. It's very important as a creator of Russian speaking community. For me, it's very important to watch video on YouTube. I just click on it and just relaxing and hear, because crypto is complicated. It helps me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first thing.
Yeah.
The second thing,
That's good.
if you want to help us to grow, you should mention us, different communities. Now you came here, maybe a little bit about us. Okay, but I have 2 different collection NFTs, and I have strong community here. And I will be glad if you just mention somewhere, I don't need money from you, Magmar. I just don't need something. I just need some attention from you. These people, they are strong. They have different people. They have invest. They can use DeFi, etc., etc. So only mention in somewhere why it's important for you. Because when you bring different companies, different businesses and countries, they need testers. They don't need bots. If you can use different, for example, communities from DeFi geeks, mad scientists, and you can tell them, if somebody has this NFT, this is the real guy. All who has this NFT, they can use your product, be a tester, and get reward, for example. Do you understand the idea how you can use community for the testnet, for example, for businesses who will use Cosmos? Just my ideas.
Yes, I understand this. I'm happy to mention, I'm here right now, right? So this is already big progress. I'm happy to mention this interview, of course. This is why I'm doing it. I'm never afraid of what I'm doing. Trying to get you guys some exposure if I am able to. I don't have a lot of followers. I have less than 8,000. Many of these communities have much bigger followings than I do. But I'm happy to do that. I also would like, to get the leaders of these different communities into one place and talk to them and say, how are we all going to work together to grow this, right? What is the plan for each of our communities to work in coordination to build a real army around Atom and around Cosmos? This is what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Right? Because the token for me is Atom, right? And I like the other Cosmos tokens. I hold, I hold a little bit of some of them. But at the end of the day, I can only save one thing, and I want to unify the ecosystem around Atom. That's always been my goal. And unifying communities around that too, I think, is a very big part of that. And so there's definitely some stuff to do there. But the first step is what I'm doing now, which is just meeting you guys, right? And saying hello, trying to answer these very direct questions, which I'm loving. Starting from there.
I would like to ask you about NFTs. Speaking about bold choices, what is your story behind your Bad Kids NFT profile picture?
So, I'm a big fan of Bad Kids because it was one of the first collections that was launched when I came into the ecosystem. And I really like the creator, this guy, Joe. He's a really good guy. He's an artist. He's very honest. I've always respected him. And the first time I got excited about Bad Kids is because I went to a Cosmos conference, and he was drawing Bad Kids live for people on paper. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And I bought some Bad Kids then. I never sold any of them just because I liked them. They became popular. When I bought them, they were not very popular. And then this one specifically was given to me by Joe. It's a very kind gesture because I told him, like I was trying to purchase one of the one-of-ones because I thought they were so cool. And I'd been talking to him, and all of the people who had one-on-ones either lost them in their wallets or they didn't know who held them, or like the couple people who had them like just would not want to sell them. And so he said, I know you really want to support Bad Kids. Here is one from my collection. You can have, I like it because it's a skeleton. And he thought it was funny because I'm sort of like a Grim Reaper to like the old Cosmos. He gave it to me, and I thought it was great. And so I posted about it and made it my profile picture. One of the things I will likely have to do is change it for when I'm talking to institutions, which is sad. But ultimately, if they see this picture, they're not taking me as seriously as I would like them to. And so that's just one thing that is unfortunate. But when it comes to the community, like I feel very attached to this. And if I ever don't want to use it, I'll give it back to Joe.
My story about Bad Kids is simple. I don't understand them at all because, it's first OG collection, but it's look like they just do nothing. And, if we compare us with Bad Kids, they have like dead server, nothing's going, and they have some airdrop, some attention. Like, you just bought it in the beginning. I understand you. But, I have a lot of work. As I said before, I have been doing news about Cosmos ecosystem for years. I have my NFT collection. I just don't have any support from Stargaze. I'm so glad that you don't buy them because they don't deserve to buy them at all. Because all they need a value. They don't care about community. So as you can see here, 88 people here just came here to listen to you. Around 700 online, around 7,000 in my Discord, 10,000 subscribers in YouTube channel. So they just don't care about it. But this is my community here, what I have built in 3 years. This is my story.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great, but nobody care about it. Absolutely, Magmar. I don't know how
That's not true.
This is 7,000
people here care about it.
Yeah, but it's so strange what you came. It's a miracle what you came here because I don't know why. It's really miracle because before nobody cared about us. We are independent community. We not under posthuman or anybody else. We are independent people. Yeah, we validate some Akash or Sanlia, but we are independent. We can talk with anybody. We don't take money from people, I don't know, from Celestia or from other companies. We have a lot of interviews with them. And our interview, honest interview, where can I say all what I want to say?
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
The truth is, I'm just going to be honest with you. I have not really explored Cosmos NFTs too deeply. The reason I am now involved is because I'm realizing that a lot of the retail community, right? A lot of the people who give this ecosystem life are inside these NFT communities. And it's very exciting to me. It's really magical, right? Like meeting the mad scientists, meeting the Bad Kids community, meeting now you guys, DeFi Geeks. I'm like, wow, here are the people, right? These are people that are in a community, excited. They have a unifying belief system. And so I want to connect to that, right? The reason I got my Bad Kid was just because I liked how they looked. I thought they looked silly, right? That's it. Like I didn't think about the utility or the community, or I never joined the Discord. Only I think 2 days ago, I was added after 3 years of holding them, right? I never thought about these things. So it's a big lesson for me, right? I'm learning about this.
Okay, Magmar, thank you very much. With who I can speak about our community and NFT integration, how to make NFT great again in Cosmos, not Atom. Let's start with NFT a little bit. With who I can speak deeply, because I'm trying to do something special, and I can share some ideas about how to do it. With who I can speak.
So I think there's two things I want to say before I answer that. The first thing is I don't know what's going to happen to Stargaze. I don't know where it's going to go, right? Because we did not acquire them. We gave them a grant to help support them. But I don't know what is going to happen. And so one of the big fears that I have is where are the NFTs going to go if Stargaze shuts down?
It's no
To
problem.
answer this question.
No problem, because we have ARC protocol. You just go to the, for example, Magic Eden, tell them to open Atom, to use Atom to mint NFTs. We just make great migration from Stargaze and send whole NFTs to the Atom, to the Cosmos, and just trade it on the Magic Eden and forget about Stargaze forever. That's all.
Okay, so that's an interesting plan. That's the first thing we have to act. We have to talk to Magic Eden about whatever it is, right? The second thing is right now I need to create a brand that can put me on Bloomberg, right? That is how we grow this division. I don't want to wear a suit, but I'm going to have to, right? I've never really worn suits in my life. And it is important for me to have a professional outward appearance and important for Cosmos to have a professional outward appearance if we want to build the kind of impact and be taken seriously by governments and by companies and by major institutions, right? I don't make these rules. And so we have stopped doing a lot of the co-marketing with NFT communities because let's say we do some giveaway for DeFi geeks and then the government of Honduras sees this. It's very different from like the Chainlink perspective, right? If you look at Chainlinks, it's like all institutional, it looks clean. And so I need to figure out, and this is where I want to work with you because I'm always in the community, right? But how do I separate the brand that we need to create for the world to adopt our technology and the community that we want to create inside, right? How do we separate these things so that they don't cross too much, so that the companies are not scared off because they don't understand NFTs, and the community is not too worried that we're so bland and non-interesting because we're only trying to attract large companies. This is a big question that I have.
Just use helpers. Just use some people who will be chief executive in marketing and building ecosystem, etc., etc. You don't need to do everything, Just find right people.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, no, we're working with people. So to answer your question, who can you work with? Sergey is a great guy to work with. I can send you his Telegram.
Yeah, send me please.
You can also add him into this group. He's a really good guy here. Also Nico, who I'm happy to connect you to.
All I need to tell what is going on my server, to represent what is going on here. And after that, you will see the value of people who stay here. Okay, I really value your time. So, last moment. Have you seen the film Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise?
I think so, a long time ago.
Yeah. Remember the moment. Show me the money. So, after 6 months, Atom's still undervalued. And I need you, Magmar. Make Atom great again. So, show me the money for the next year, okay? I don't know when we meet again because it's too difficult. And all I need from you, show me the money. Okay, good luck. Thank you for coming. You're a really nice guy.
Thank you, guys.
Have a nice day.